weekend sprinters, and our product is a Burnout Buster Resource Hub. It's all a long name. um, Here is our topics going to be covered today. Problem space, our learning learning curve from UX research, lo-fi persona, competitive analysis. And then we'll go for our solutions, product vision, strategy, roadmap, MVP, and then we'll demonstrate the DAP decisions and our algorithm. And we'll wrap up with the challenges and learnings through this process. And let me go to next one, the problem space. We're focusing on burnout, and through our competitive research, going through, I think we did research on 5 different competitors in the space, from mobile app to website, and we observed trends and unmet needs from the users. And that's how we approach to find our product, the value, the unique value we can provide for the users. So a couple of things in terms of the trend, we noticed most of the mobile apps that focus on general well-being for all gender users and through like personalized programs with rigorous steps to follow. And another one is accessibility. And type of program only focus on therapy, meditation, and mostly self-assessment. After some user researches, we noticed that there are few things that are not being addressed are unmet needs for the users. One is most of the application or website only focus on burnout that is professionally related. And we know that there are other causes of burnout and other underlying issue with the different life events, such as like divorce or parenting or even physical conditions. So, and we also notice there are unique challenges that marginalized genders face that are different from the general audiences, and that's not that hasn't been addressed properly with the current products in the market. And also another part we notice is the affordability and the flexibility of the form that the user can use, because mostly what's in the current market is mobile, focusing on meditation or a fixed program to improve their state of burnout, but a lack of community building, lack of expert-led leading, or option of self-support, self-guidance. So noticing those unmet needs from the current market research, we narrow down our goals, what we want to do with our product, and what the exact space that we want to go for. Going forward, I'll have my designer to demonstrate like their process coming up with this, conducting the researches and coming up with the design decision. Here's Stephanie.
Hi everyone. So we go ahead, Igor. Oh, sorry.
No, all good. Yeah, go ahead.
Irene is our mentor. She's amazing. So anyways, so we start with a couple of interviews, and we notice like from like our interaction. So when we ask about burnout, pretty much a lot of the users that we interviews didn't know exactly how to relate to, how to describe to. And then we start the survey with, of course, identifying the demo. Then we started a survey after that, identifying our demographic, who it is, pretty much like focusing on the LGBT plus community and women's. And then one of the questions that caught our attention was on the surveys was like, if you ever experienced these feelings below, and then we list that, and we notice some of them, like most of them, like physical and emotional exhaustion, cynicism, feelings like inefficiency. Sorry about my English. Anxiety and things like that. So it's things like people don't know much how to identify, like, because they don't know they experience that until you give the lead or the heads up about that. So one of the question was how we measure and track the impact of burnout and on the individuals. Next slide. You can go for the 5. Yeah, thank you. And then another point that really caught our attention on the survey was how often people find and don't have time for self practices and things like that. So that's also is how might we encourage and facilitate self-care. And with that, we create Sarah is our persona. So Sarah recently lost her job. So we also took in consideration the environment right now. And Sarah also struggles is getting burnout just to find a job and looking for a job and not finding like tons of application weekly and don't have no heard back. And she also focusing into like low cost self-care. So there is another point too. So like was Yang was saying, like one of the problems was the fact that most of the apps have some cost involved or something like that. So then we did some research, and then we find tons of applications, but some of them really were like tackling that burnout situation. One thing that we noticed also, like how to collect behavioral data in order to implement like a feature in an application or website. We found some really nice websites and programs that are free that people usually, when you Google it, don't find. So that's another point as well. So then we come up with this setup. So a landing page, a welcome page, a form, a quiz that identifies symptoms, a loading page, and then a results page, and then we can send all the results to the user on the end. One of concerns is also don't be like we were talking about mental health, so it's a very sensitive space, to tackle. I mean, like it could be triggering, it could be all of that all together. And then moving forward, I think then Yang or Manu, I guess.
Yeah, it's me. So yeah, I think it's definitely walking everyone through basically the design process we had, and we narrowed down our product vision and statement. And the vision is to empower marginalized genders to success in their personal career pursuits by providing personalized resource to address their specific needs in overcoming burnout and to improve their overall well-being. And our focus clearly is stated in the vision statement that one, to understand the unique challenges that marginalized genders face, and two is finding the right tool. And how are we going to find the right tool? That goes back to the unmet needs we mentioned earlier, and we're focusing addressing the user true needs. What's the underlying issues? What kind of life events they're going through, or like what kind of struggle they're going through, and then the accessibility as we pick as our persona, and also the flexible form of the tools. With these consideration, and this is our high-level roadmap and our MVP. We divided it into 4 stages with consideration of one, to optimize user interactions through the process, which means which can be translated as maximize user adoptions. And two, the feasibility and scalability. I used a 7-20-10 scale. Feasibility in terms of our design, developer capability, and the access to the tools that we can utilize. And the scalability is looking to the future, like how can we build a product that can be scaled quickly and effectively and securely. And I'm not gonna walk each. I'm not gonna walk through the every steps, but we set the goals for each stage, what we are trying to achieve. For example, for the MVP version, we want to validate the premises of the product, our hypothesis, and I'm gonna show later. And also monetization, how these are the four pillar that we use to decide how we divide the four stages of the development of this product at a high level. And this is when it comes to defining our MVPs, we're considering the vertical slicing of the MVP that we can deliver, what kind of a data or learning we want to collect from this MVP, and what kind of value we can offer to the users. And the trade-off, we made the trade-offs based on the effort impact, the choices of live event focus. As I mentioned, and Stephanie mentioned earlier, we're only focused on career. One, because it's such a trendy topics right now with all the massive layoff. So potentially we can attract more users. So which means it might be suggest a bigger impact of our product to the user. So and then time resources constraints for the considering the front end dev work and lo-fi designs, because it's going to take much more time to do the back end dev work, but it's essential. But for the MVP, I think it's more scalable to focus on the front end and lo-fi design. And this is our spring schedule, a spring roadmap. Quiz result page. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Landing page, quiz result page for the spring 2, and progressing bars, loading page algorithm, and for the spring 3. And for the final result, we have final spring, we have the result page, email options, and algorithm. And I am gonna walk everyone through our products really quick. So begin with the quiz. And you can see the progress bars. And with as you're completing each question. And now I hope this works. Finger crossed. And the individual will receive the email. Yay! Wow, this is my first time try. Amazing job. Okay, here you go. So that's the recommendation the user will be received. Okay, now I will pass this off to Manu.
Hi, everyone. I'm Manu. We'll try to go through this quickly. We'll talk about how we choose the tech stack, our algorithm, and our design decisions. You can go to the next one, Yang. Thank you. At the beginning, we were 3 developers, where me and Kenneth were more of a backend developers and Ida more of a frontend. So we considered using Flask or Fast API for the backend and using React for the front. In the end, we thought that there was no time and we had worries about storing users' data. So we decided to not do that, at least for now, because we weren't sure we could guarantee the security of that data. And we decided to go with just a front-end app and then mailing the users. We then were between Create React and Next.js. And we decided to go with Next.js because we wanted to learn a new framework. The learning curve didn't seem so bad. And Next.js provided a few things that we thought might be interesting, like pre-rendering, routing, etc. And it was actually fairly easy to use. We unfortunately didn't get to use all it has to offer, but we would definitely work with it again. Deployment, we use both Verso and Netlify. We decided to keep Netlify as Verso was paid in our case for a group. And we have a lot of things we want to work on in the future. We talked about using Material UI for the front end and changing how we are styling things to use style components. We have tests installed. We are using Jest, but we haven't written any tests, so we want to work on that in the future. And maybe add a backend. So now Ida will talk about our algorithm.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ida, and I'll be going over the process of our algorithm. So pretty much for our quiz, each question has an associated tag with it. And then since we have a scale going on 1 through 7, each user input will carry a value. So if a user clicks 1, it will carry the value of 1 or 6 or 7. And then based off of that value, we'll count the highest tags at the end of the quiz. Since each question has the associated tag, either job, affordable, or community. Basically, if community has like one of the highest tags and then job has the second highest tags, the end result will showcase a personalized results page that has different resources relating to community and job, and then it'll exclude like affordable, for example, just so that it creates a more personalized experience. And then depending on how the user answers the questions, the experience will vary. And then for our quiz, what's next? Our algorithm at the moment is pretty rudimentary. We kind of honestly just prioritize trying to make it work. So there is a lot of room for improvement. And then pretty much this is not the end. We plan on doing more tests, refactoring, revising, and probably revisiting our original code and trying to make it more efficient and effective than what we have right now. And then for our dev design priorities, our overall approach was to really just prioritize the MVP. We wanted to create a functioning quiz, and then we prioritized mainly the logic in the algorithm. So because of that, we honestly simplified the user experience and we removed any unnecessary elements that we felt like we didn't really need in order to attain our goal. But our desirables would be to hopefully implement a hi-fi design, add more questions and resources, add an animated loading screen, and then a customized email template, and also the option to download a PDF, and then implement a sign-up feature just so that the experience could be more customizable and personalized. And then overall just improve the quiz and results experience. And then as far as future ideas go, we're still in the works. We're hoping to mainly get our desirables first and then hopefully think of some new ideas to support our quiz. For now, I'll be passing it over to Stephanie.
Thank you. Yeah, can you open the style? Thank you. So this is our landing page. So Sophia and I work on the style guide, giving to like more like light colors and not so triggering, like something that you feel welcoming in terms of style wise. This is our scale. So if you hover on the scale right now, it pretty much will show like it changed the colors when you select one of the levels. We ran some usability testing as well, so I still think need some work to do on that. On the terms of one of the feedbacks was, oh, maybe we should show better the measurements of that, because again we are trying to collect feelings and thoughts. And can you go back? But anyways, just finalizing that, we also are working on the arrows to make sure that are very intuitive to use and things like that. Going forward is a loading page, and then on the loading page, we want to work with animations eventually. And this is our result pages that someone asked about HIPAA. We're not collecting any data for security reasons, as Manu was describing before. Pretty much you're going to just send out the info. We also scratched out the form that we had previously, again, for security reasons, and just to show the user result page covering the aspect like affordability. So some of the resources that you're seeing here are free. So the person can go there and have free therapy or group sessions and things like that. I think for me, that's all.
All right, I think we're running over time. Open the floor for question and answers. Thank you, everyone. And thanks for all the tours.